Hunt with passion. Never stop casting. Chase the dream. Welcome to Season 6 of Musky Mastery Outdoors. Brought to you by Joe Bucher Outdoors. #1 in big game fish products. And by Recon Boats. Made by craftsmen. Built for fishermen. Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome back to another Musky Quick Tips segment here on the Musky Master YouTube channel. Now guys, in today's video we are going to talk about a really important topic when it comes to fall fishing, and that is speed. A lot of folks have trouble connecting with muskies in the fall. Right now we've got water temps below 50. We're in the 40s now. And it means that you really can work the same lures that you do in the summertime, in the springtime, but you just got to work them a little bit differently, in my opinion. Now, this is a generality. This doesn't mean you can't fish fast, but again, you probably already see where I'm going with this. The key word here in the fall, when you've got cooler water, is slow. Here I've got a good example of a lure that we just scratched up yesterday. My buddy Danny caught his first muskie on the old 7-inch shallow rater here in Grape Flame. It's a lure that I utilize all year long. But when we talk about slow, a lot of folks ask, well, what do you mean, Chaz, by fishing slow? How do you fish a lure slower in the fall as compared to the summer? So let me give you 2 examples here throwing the baby shallow rater. Now, again, if you followed my channel, you know with minnow baits, I like to do the hybrid technique. I've talked about the super hybrid technique. So I'm going to show you an example of how I might work this lure in the summer. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about a faster speed retrieve here. So I'm going to cast out the baby shallow rater, okay, and I am going to, if this was July, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. All right, pause, slackline twitch, and I'm gonna crank this thing in, okay? I'm cranking it, it's fast. I'm going right into that figure 8. And you can see I'm fishing, relatively speaking, here pretty quickly again. I'm gonna show you another July cast here. Casting that baby shallow rater out here. I'm hitting that weed edge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Pause, slackline twitch, and then here again in my summer retrieve, I'm going to crank my crankbait in. I'm cranking this lure in. I'm trying to get a muskie off that edge now to come follow me, come into that figure 8. Look at that big wide turn of that figure 8. And that's a general way that I'm working shallow raters. I got a lot of videos on the channel catching muskies in the spring and summer period when the water temps are in, upper 60s, for sure in the 70s on shallow raters. But now again, we got temperatures in the 40s. So what's the difference now? What do we mean by slow? Here's slow. Cast it out the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice my twitches right there are even slower. And what I'm doing is I'm talking to you on the camera. This is how I fish, actually. Big slackline twitch here. I'm going to reposition the boat here. Slackline twitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slackline twitch. Slackline twitch. That bait's still out there in the strike zone right now. I'm leaving it there. Slackline twitch. I'm going to reposition the boat here. All right, now I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slackline twitch. I'm going to rip it, pause. Pausing the lure here, letting it float up almost to the surface, crank it back down. Pause it right at the boat. I'm going to let that lure come up to the surface, and I'm going to finish with a figure 8. Notice my speed on the figure 8 in the fall, slower. Okay, I'm going to show you another time here. The whole idea here, folks, when I'm talking about slow, is to essentially keep this lure in the strike zone for just a longer period of time. And essentially with a diving, floating diver here, like this 7-inch shallow rater, what that just means for you when you're working this lure is that you're just essentially letting this lure, you're making it dive, and you're letting it float to the surface, and you're letting this whole process just take longer. The whole idea with longer and slower is that the muskies, generally speaking, and this is just from my experience in the fall, they're not chasing lures as often. Now, some days when you get a little bit of a warm spell or you got weather in, yeah, we're running bucktails, we're cruising, we're
we're burning things. But a lot of times we're doing this, okay? Again, here's a great example of 1, 2, 3, 4, slack line twitch. And just look at the slack in that line, slack line twitch, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, slack line twitch. And again, I'm waiting here. I might talk to my buddy, I might look at my graph. I'm just waiting for the thump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slack line twitch, and I'm just literally letting this thing hang there. And there's a couple benefits of doing this, by the way. It's obviously not just for catching muskies on the shallow rater. Again, I'll let it float up all the way to the surface almost. And one of the things, again, that you're seeing, let me get back to my slow retrieve here. You noticed in my summer retrieve, I was really cranking that lure in. After I did a couple pauses and twitches up by the weed edge, I'm cranking that thing in all the way right into that figure 8. But in my fall retrieval, I'm pausing it multiple times all the way to the boat. So the whole idea there is slow. And slow, what that means is I'm just essentially adding the duration of the retrieve is just longer. I'm doing all sorts of things to slow this bait down and keep it in the strike zone. Now, one thing that would be, it wouldn't be good if we didn't talk about this. Part of the other good reason that we slow things down when we're casting in the fall is for position fishing with our sucker. So we're usually running, when we're casting at this time of the year, we're usually running live bait. One of the things that's great is you want to slow the speed of the boat down so you're not skiing your suckers across the surface of the lake. So not only is slowing down great for triggering muskies and artificial lures, but slowing things down is also in your favor. It puts the odds in your favor for catching muskies on live bait. So there you have it, guys. There's just at least one example for you to think about, and there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can slow things down with bucktails. You can just slow your retrieve down with blades. You can slow your retrieve down with your soft plastics. You can slow your retrieve down with anything you throw. The whole idea is just increase the duration of your retrieve to trigger strikes from muskies in cold water that are less likely to be in a chasing mood. And that's a lot of times what we're finding, especially you know, on a day like today where we've got this northeast east wind. We don't have a lot of muskies chasing, so we've got to really hang a lure like this 7-inch shallow ritter, take advantage of a neutral buoyancy, and in fact, that's another thing you can do. You can use a heavier leader here. Right now I've got an 11-inch steel leader, but if you want to decrease the buoyancy and even increase the hang time of this lure, put some bigger hooks on it. You know, put a 3/0 hook on this thing, and you're going to be able to even retrieve this lure slower. And again, that's the whole idea here in the fall, is go slow. So I really hope that this tip and these examples, I think the examples are really important because we talk about, hey, go slow, but nobody really shows you, well, what's the difference? July versus late October, November. That's the difference. Slow it down, get creative, and you're gonna catch more muskies doing this, all right? Well, we really hope you enjoyed this Muskie Quick Tips segment, and as always, thanks for watching.